Why it got that gloopy stuff? The heck that gloopy stuff? Is that a man in that gloopy goop?
Everybody wants to nuke Arasaka Tower, but nobody wants to tickle my pickle and purple my nurples. Makes you think, samurai.
Somebody break da big man out dog loop.
In that loop, mein Freund Gröckling. And I put my eye just rode in from a loop town. Do you understand me? Do ya? Do ya? Oh.
Hi, Chu. My brain is dead from lack of intellectual stimulation.
Do it! 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 Do you understand me? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Do ya?
Do you understand me? Do ya? 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 Do you understand me? Do ya? 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 Yeah, do ya? Do ya? Do ya? Yeah. Do ya? Do ya? Do ya?
Do you understand me? Do ya? 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 I hey h.
Good times are rolling soon. I hope I reckon you understand me. Do it, 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 do it.
Poo 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 poo.
Hello, chat. It's me. Gamer. I need to change my settings here. I don't even know where I'm going today. Where do they have me going these days? Where do they tend to do that at? Only got 23% on Hawke's Bay. Let's go to Miami again. Maybe. Maybe. Hold on. Hold on. I'm looking around here. I am.
I wish I had a candy bar. What's that one chocolate called again? Buttfinger. Yeah, that. Yummers.
Yummers? Yeah, Buttfinger. I've heard of some of those. They actually make those out of ass. 16% in Bombay. Oh yeah, let's go to Ram Ranch. I heard we gotta kill a man named Bucksuck. We haven't done the tall man mission.
Ooh, this chocolate tastes like poop from a butt. Or shit from an ass. Yuckers.
I'm sorry that you know what that tastes like. That just means that you're dedicated to men, though. We're gonna strangle these people with fiber wire. And I'm gonna bring probably just a bunch of coins. Unless we have... No. He will shoot the children. Not yet. We'll go in as the clown. If you think about it, if you don't start with a disguise and you have to get a disguise, sometimes that means you gotta knock somebody out. And if you gotta knock somebody out, that's one less person that can see you.
Welcome to Colorado, 47.
I'm just
The
saying.
militia has taken up HQ at an old apricot farm and appear to be training for a series of coordinated strikes, ranging from cyber attacks to full-blown guerrilla warfare. The Shadow Client appears to unite specialists and radicals from all over the map. Mercenaries and terrorists, hackers and spies joined by an unknown common cause. Satellite scans indicate that the command room is below ground inside an old tornado shelter. Only Rose appears to have access.
Unknown
however,
common
so
cause?
to get inside,
No way.
You will need to get creative. This environment is hostile and highly alert, so tread carefully. Good luck, 47.
Freedom Warriors. Alright. Dirty. Susio. Mission Susio.
Freak in the mask. What the hell are you talking about? I was just at the
Freak over there.
watching the feed.
That freaky guy over there. What the hell's that? Better check that out. Don't see the clown.
Thumbs up.
Choke him. No. Drag the body. Put the guy in the thing. Put his outfit on. I am you now. Grab the money. Grab the gun. Take out the money.
Oh.
Throw the coin on the dirt. Somehow he hears. Somehow he hears this.
Command, something's off here in my sector. Stand by while I investigate.
Which way? From which way will he approach? I subdue. I choke the man. I restrict blood flow directly to his beard. I dumped it. They'll be okay. They're just a little. They love each other now. That's how man babies are made. That guy could be a problem. Anywhere I could dump him. There's a camera over there. I could probably shoot it. Probably be a good idea.
What?
They notice, but it's cool. Stuff breaks all the time, you know? It's fine. Where's that guy walk to? Right there. Where's that guy walk to? Right there. I don't really have anywhere to put the body other than a bush. Which that would work, actually. So. He didn't hear that. Alright, we'll lead him.
Possible situation we'll investigate.
Command, I heard a coin. Oh man, these guys.
Ching.
Cha-ching! Me when I see motherfucking coinage.
Hey, Command, I think I heard something. Moving in to investigate. Over.
Cool. Yeah, do that. Okay, so those guys are gonna turn around. I think I'm good to go though. Just drag him this way. Towards the bushes. Okay, so he's hidden. Makes it a little bit easier to kind of breathe over here. A little bit. Got that guy over there. It's kind of sucky.
How are you?
Alright, he's over here in the motherfucking little glass house. He's growing wheat.
This area, this is off limits, sorry.
It's great.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Sorry. Alright, he doesn't want us touching his
That is
cannabis
Penelope
weed.
Graves, acclaimed anti-terror analyst. Strange to see her as part of this crowd.
Uh-oh. Avocado. Another avocado. A vault. Driver.
Obama.
Yeah.
I feel I know him well enough.
What's up?
Any signs of malfunction.
Obamanon.
I'll get right on it.
Hey, yo. I can hide right here. That dude's the same rank as me, isn't he?
You gotta be kidding.
You gotta be fucking shitting me. No one would throw a screwdriver.
Command, either we got a poltergeist or someone's throwing things at us. We're clear.
What the?
We might have a
Hold on, I gotta turn down this generator sound.
situation.
Oh my god, it's still so loud.
The perimeter. Over.
They don't care? Oh, they're coming. Oh, he said he didn't want to do it anymore.
Hey, is anyone there?
No.
Come on, man.
No.
Got him! Do you outrank me? No. Dang it. He does not outrank me. Who outranks me? These guys outrank me. You can tell because their clothes fit better. Process documents on the what the fuck cover. Okay. That's an idea.
Shows you who you really are. Either you press that trigger and stand up for yourself,
Or you don't.
that's some deep cowboy shit, man. I'm serious.
Wait, where'd those guys go? Can I come in here? I probably still can't do that. I'm gonna, like, do it anyway. What? Why can't I just, like, do it now? Whatever. I guess he did his weed. You become hallucinogenic. Excuse me? Are we going to smoke the fucking weed?
Keep that gun holstered, son.
Enjoy dinner, chatter. I hope your belly is open and emotionally ready to receive food. I become hallucinogenic. Okay.
Oh, you're back. Great. So, listen, I've been thinking, dosage is just wrong. Did you check?
I appreciate your enthusiasm, my friend, but I checked the dosage. It was the first thing I did.
Of course you did. I'm so dumb. Sorry. So, maybe there's something wrong with
To remove interrogation.
I appreciate your interest in my work, but it's a little hard to focus with all these questions.
Not a problem. I'll just observe. It's really something else watching you work. I've always wanted to get into it. Absolutely. It's not the violence. Huh. Electricity and breaking bones. It isn't my deal at all. No, more
just
like
heard a strange noise. I'm gonna check it out. Please stand by.
Hello?
Quiet.
Is anyone there?
Let the subject talk.
Oh, got it.
He picked up the hint. He got the hint. I become hallucinogen. That guy will know. He will know.
You gotta be.
Huh?
Huh? Huh? The dude's like covered with a sock. Why does he check it out too?
Mm-hmm. We've got a weapon just lying around over there.
Try not to get in my way.
Okie dokie.
Rude, but okay.
Who's up there?
They have such a quirky relationship. They're so quirked up. Right? What's that? Nitroglycerin, hallucinogenic drugs, lace. That guy's cigar? Basement key. Or what else is it? I see the video? Guys, we see the video. I drank some of that hallucinogenic shit. Tastes good. I think I bumped it up against my mic.
And look what they've done with the house. That's not right.
Look what they did. They fucked everything up. Alright, I got a cigar to lace. Huh?
I got a possible disturbance.
There's a big macho cigarette I need to dose right here, dude. I did it.
Command. Yeah, I got a big.
Sean Ross's OCD cat? I gotta do. Wait, what? I have to give his cat OCD? How do I do that? How do you give a cat obsessive compulsive disorder? Dude, I thought I had to kill people. That's... Huh?
Huh?
The fuck was that?
Hey, check that out. I hear ya.
Just having fun, boys. Don't worry about me. What's up, y'all? Easy work. Easy work. Change the time of seriousness. Okay. I changed the time of seriousness. Okay.
That was strange, all right? Really?
Wait, huh? Nah, man. I don't live here. Shut up.
Hey, mister! Who are you again?
God, you look cool. Oh, let me hug your outfit, dude. You look awesome. No, you look, he's wears the same outfit as me. What the hell? I thought I was getting cool new clothes. Dang it. God dang it.
Bloody hell!
Why did they notice this time? Why? They're so attuned to their environment now. There we go. Just bullet impact notice.
JHQ, you're receiving me. We got ourselves a grade A troublemaker.
We got ourselves a great troublemaker. Yeah. Don't mind me. It's fine. Everything's fine, buddy. Everything's just fine. I just change the time. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. We just change the time. Maybe if we go around, they won't try to choke slam me into the ground. I see a thing. What's up? Alright, alright. He heard that? He heard that shit? Let's push it to the limit. Walk along the race.
Okay.
Yes. Come on.
Very clever, 47. This ought to rattle his cage.
He won't be able to handle it. Sloppy.
Oh, the hell doesn't anyone else Gravedigger is sector figures 693659. We are all clear. Over.
Wait, I stress him out. He goes, has a cigar, and then he... What the fuck?
Whatever.
Actually fucking insane. We can never let that happen again. There's no way. Come on, man. Really? You don't notice me. Whoa. A command? I think there's some kind of freak out there. Oh, dude, video games, hell yeah. Include the person that's... Is he ever going to smoke that big cigarette we left out there? Dirty language link. General public. Damn, all the way over there though? Anything like not all the way over there? No? Okay. Anything like not all the way over there?
Was that it?
Yeah, that's a little closer. Alright, how about this one? Even closer. What's this guy do? What's this guy doing? Get out of here. Comes up in here. It's probably like, what are you guys playing? What level are you on? What level are you on, guys? Hey, guys. Can I play? Can I play later? Hey, guys. Can I play too, guys? Can I play too? Oh shit, here comes the guy. He's angry, dude. He's fucking pissed.
That was close. That was close. Okay. Deep breaths. Think about geometric shapes. Strong.
Okay, enough chit chat. On your knees and hands. Give me 100 now.
Think about.
Yes, sir.
Oh, dude, we just gave him LSD. That sucks. As someone who also struggles with OCD,
That's not right. It's not right. No. No.
I would also not like to have something of mine laced with LSD suddenly.
This is bad. Oh, jeez, I'm covered. I'm covered in all. Oh, God. They're everywhere. Oh, get them off. Get them off. Jeez, no, I'm clean. Unclean. I gotta get it off.
Shit!
Dude, what a traumatic fucking way to die. That's okay. That's actually kind of fucking disturbing.
Sean Rose confirmed down. Nicely done, 47.
What the fuck, man? Bro, this is kind of fucked up. I kind of didn't like doing that. One of those trainees just cocks their head slightly left, and they're like, "Oh God!" Wait, we were gonna do... Okay, I guess we gotta do this one now. A lot of Sean Rose related missions, it seems.
Gentlemen,
Gentlemen.
with the shipment. I'm now
With the
running
shipment.
quite low on hallucinogens.
Remember.
I need them for
You're
this
trespassing
here.
and I don't do
Training.
what we do.
Burgess, the sharpshooter.
Up, 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 up. That's the sound you make when you... Dump them. Dump them. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a dump. Me to myself every time. Every time I dump.
Hi, I'm just wondering if you've had the chance to look for my shipment yet. It's really quite vital I get it. My subject's proving quite unresponsive to the norm.
Yeah, I need LSD to give this freak so he freaks out even more. Just like I did to that one guy before I drowned him in the little bathtub.
Training accident. That would be Burgess, the sharpshooter.
This area is a restricted area and I can't let you in.
Got clipped by a ram
What?
or something? The team trains with a battering ram to simulate the attack on Secretary Torres' motorcade. I don't know, I guess old Burgess had his head up his ass.
9 out of 10 accidents happen in the home.
They do say that. Anyway, the guy was lucky. Sprained his ankle, that's all. He'll be back in a couple.
So does Rose still supervise the training?
Sure, why?
Well, if we ever want to get rid of Rose without the boss knowing, I guess Burgess just taught us how.
I like your thinking. Tell Parvati, eh, man? It'll make her day.
Like a man in safety clothes. We need to find safety clothes. What are safety clothes? Why can't I jump over that? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Like a man in safety clothes. You know how they say, chat. Like a man in safety clothes. No cameras over here? A little low budget, huh? Over here. At the compound. Oh, I gotta get his clothes?
Course reception's crap out here. We barely have indoor plumbing as it is.
Not a country.
Sup. They got a lot of little air fresheners. And they got a sink I can overflow. Dude, the Slurry Lagoon. Toxic gas, no entry. These guys got a good sense of humor, dude. That's funny shit, dude. And it's about shit.
Don't you dare mess up this fucking day more than it already is.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude. But that didn't really help. Let's drop a gun on the floor and have him react to it and have to take it back somewhere. Huh? What was that? Oh, he's gonna go check it out. Oh, he hurt leg.
Hello? Is anybody there?
What the? Oh, he don't care about the gun.
Command, got a possible 517. Moving in to investigate.
I feel...
You feel what? Yeah, you got real quiet when I... Oh, yeah. Disguised as a higher person. Alright. Done. Dumped them. Good dump. Solid dump. Dump them. Dump them twice. Dump, dump, barrel. I guess that's a crate, not a barrel. Interview? Oh, I get to do an interview! Ew. We're still inventing new ways to blow people up and ruin their day.
Oh, you were at Jordan Cross's funeral, huh? That's it. Let loose on that hip.
I guess we're gonna do a an interview.
I'm back.
Well, well, our very own punching bag. Any broken bones?
Wounded pride. That's all.
Good to hear. All right, head over to the briefing area. We'll resume in a moment.
What happened to your hand? Anyways. Oh, we get to have a little lecture time. Mixture is a particular person. Press spacebar to organize trade unions. Phase 1, ram limo. Phase 2, shoot 3 people. Phase 3, take stuff out of the limo and get out. Okay. Ramming van.
All right, people, let's get to it. Burgess is back. We're finally ready to make this happen. I expect you all to know this by heart. But in case amnesia has set in, here's the sequence. Advance to the car with haste. Eliminate the passengers. Retrieve the briefcase. Extract. Got that? And remember, speed and accuracy is the name of the game. All right. Now go pick up your weapons and get in position.
Excuse me, what kind of van is it? Position. Okay. Excuse me. They're not shooting over here, are they? I'm not trying to be a hitman. I'm gonna throw an avocado at it or some shit.
Alright, let's go
Okay, they're gonna be mad if I don't.
again. On your marks. Ready, set, execute.
And that's not obvious. And that's obvious. Okay, thanks. That was easy. Modern Warfare intro sequence, you are not.
What is this?
Wait, what?
Who are you?
Well, that was a little bit of bullshit. It's just a little bit of bullshit. A little bit of bullshit. Go ahead and choke his ass. It don't matter. That guy won't see anything. It'll be fine. See? Easy. Just dump him. Grab his gun. Dash out of the window. Guys. Frag. Dump. Part 2. Sequel. And now we have to do all of that again.
That came in yesterday. Did you see that? It looked like a freaking circus clown.
Yes, hello. How's everyone doing? We're still bald. We're still making progress. We're still going for higher percentages of completion with no set goal. Just kind of looking at whatever map has the least completion on it and picking that.
Hello. I'm back.
Well, well, our very own punching bag. Any broken bones?
Wounded pride, that's all.
Good to hear. All right, head over to the briefing area. We'll resume in a moment.
Yes, ma'am. That's it. Moments like this makes me almost tempted to break out the cheat engine and just ramp it up a little. Just a little bit. Could I put that on like a slider on a MIDI controller? Have just like an FPS slider.
All right,
Speed
people,
slider.
let's get to it. Burgess is back. We're finally ready
Burgers
to make
is
this
back.
happen. I expect you all to know this by heart. But in case amnesia has set in,
It
here's
has.
the sequence. Advance to the car with haste. Eliminate the passengers. Retrieve the briefcase. Extract. Got that? And remember, speed and accuracy is the
Is that a
name of
Pink
the game.
Floyd album
All
cover
right.
down there?
Now go pick up your weapons and get in position. Move out.
Okay.
Sir.
I'm so ready.
All right, let's go again. On your marks. Ready, set, execute. Read the document. Extract.
Go, 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 go. Easy. Disable security feeder. Okay. God.
Team's overall performance was passable. Good speed and accuracy, but coordination needs to improve.
All right, we're gonna save right here.
point is to build up muscle memory. A perfect sequence of synchronized motion. You need to be able to pull this off sleeping.
Don't save your ammo on this guy!
Damn it! I was just a little too late. I'm glad I saved. Very glad. Happy about
build
that.
up muscle memory. A perfect sequence of synchronized motion. You need to be able to pull this off sleeping.
Engage!
What? Oh, I gotta do that, and then I'm... Oh, okay.
Alright, let's go again. On your marks. Ready, set, execute. Read the documents and extract.
And that's obvious.
That's it! Let loose on that! Come on! Shoot him!
Okay, let's take a break. Burgess, great work. The rest of you need to be tighter.
Ooh, she's so dead, dude. She's so dead, dude. Oh, that was bad. I didn't even want to stick around and look at it. Ooh, dude, that thing. Ooh. Ooh, the cruiser, dude. Complete fucking. Oh, man.
You know, I've been thinking.
Oh, she got turned into like a pancake. Oh, and I gotta go back there. Oh, dude. Dude, that is like a sphere of trauma. And like an orb of horrible shit.
Harsh, loud, fast.
Can't go near it. The spiritual force is too negative. What's this guy's deal? These two guys' deals.
So this test that Rose has planned seems kind of cruel, doesn't it? I mean, I'm no softy or anything, but it feels excessive to me.
She's got it coming. And nobody can switch sides like Graves and just expect to be accepted. Tests are in order, man.
Yeah, sure, I get that. But playing on her past with Interpol like that? I don't know, man. I just hope the technician knows how to act.
She used to be the enemy. I don't have any sympathy for that. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's got the badge, right?
Yeah, he showed it to me over by the tent. Rehearsed his lines, too. He's taking this pretty seriously. Should be in the clear. Hey. It'll be interesting to see if she takes the hook.
And not to mention how far she'll go. You think she'll order us to be removed?
If she does, I got a 45 cal with her initials on it.
I hear you.
Ooh. Alright, we're gonna pretend to be a member of Interpol, apparently? Super illegal, by the way. Don't do that. Interpol is short for International Police. They're world cops, and they go hard. In like the they'll fuck you up sort of way, not like like yay, Interpol.
Interpol. I hardly know her pole.
Yeah. Enter the pole.
So you're all set for the sting?
Hi, Sim.
Sure.
I hope you had good din
Got a
din.
badge in my pocket, prep my lines, shouldn't be a problem. Almost game time.
You, think you can hook her?
Graves is new. She comes by every 2 seconds.
Who are you? Hey,
Um.
Do any of you know this wankster?
He called me a wankster. That ruined my dinner and yours. You had a shitty dinner now.
So you're all set for the sting?
Ooh, avocado.
Got a badge in my pocket, prep my lines, shouldn't be a problem.
Shit. Shit, the fucking dynamo. What kind of cock wank?
And it's back on.
Aw. Hey, that's gonna work out pretty
Pretty
good. Pretty good for me. International Pole Police. The
I've
International Pole
eaten from
Position.
Marie Callender's frozen chicken pot pies in 24 hours, and my body is reacting.
Reacting how? Reacting how? What do you mean? Don't. I get his badge, I get his gun. I drop this. And I go over and talk to this lady. Gas and pop. Oh, I know. Okay.
Penelope Graves, we need to talk.
You're...
I'm Interpol.
What is this?
I'll explain everything at the slurry pit. It will be in your best interest to do as I say.
I understand. I'll see you there.
That's what I'm saying. Watching the Broncos was like a break.
We are Interpol. Bum, 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 bum. Better hurry it up, lady. Gas and mud. At the slurry pit. Toxic slurry pit. Do not touch, do not enter septic slurry pit. Don't spoil it, whatever it is, because I don't know it. Maybe tell me, like, maybe where it is. Unless it's cool to discover it. I don't know if this is the level with the Easter egg.
We don't want any intruders. Hope we're clear on that. What? You waiting for a kiss? Get out of my face.
Miss Graves, you are being recruited back into Interpol as an insider.
What?
Okay.
Who are you anyway? How did you find me?
That is not important. Think about this carefully. You can provide us with valuable intel. If you cooperate, the agency will overlook your unfortunate transgression.
And what if I refuse, huh? If I scream and get the guards here?
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Might prove unhealthy. I'll give you a few moments to think about it.
Good work, 47. This should give her something to think about. Okay, look, it's very sweet of you to follow me around on Rose's request, but... oh, guess what? I'm a big girl. I can handle myself for a few minutes, all right? Thank you.
Huh? She gonna think it over? Yeah, she's gonna think it over.
How did they get to you? Flight out of Lyon under assumed name. Passport provided through Delgado and that Vanisher guy. It looked clean. Changed clothes at JFK and again at Denver International. Charred the passport after leaving the hotel. Burned was dropped before I left the flight. Can't possibly be that. Diplomatic car out of Denver. Nothing unusual about the bus ride.
Met up with Hall in the middle of nowhere. Burned everything. I saw her do it. There's no way. Hackers, huh?
Easy.
Graves
Easy.
is down. Excellent work, 47.
It always gives me points for kill a tramp. And this last guy, I guess we just whoop his ass and leave.
Okay, so Ramirez speaks Spanish. Hmm? So what? We're not going to Mexico to chat to the natives. We're going to blow shit up. Right?
This guy. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to blow shit up.
My shipment. Surely you must have found it by now. Did anyone put it somewhere else? I'd hate to see this get mixed up with the spices for the field kitchen. Something like that. That'd be a rather sad day for us all.
Intel. Afraid not, Mr. Berg. I don't know where it
Intel
might be.
All that prep and she didn't learn how to swim. You think Agent 47 knows how to swim? I've never seen him swim. Not in a single game I've ever seen him swim.
Huh? You heard that, right? If you check over there, I'll
Damn
check
it.
over here.
Got it.
Yeah, right. He just walks off. This fucking guy. They said no, no, no.
We're clear. There's nothing here.
Right.
So you just like walk around and shit. I mean, sometimes I'd be doing that, to be fair.
Agent 47 canonically can't swim because his meat weighs him down.
The amount of freaks being brought
Is that
into
true?
camp has increased.
I actually never thought about his wangus. You think he's got like hair down there? He probably doesn't.
I still can't believe they're real.
What if he got caught one time
Most
because he
people are
like left a
amateurs
single
and idiots.
long curly pube behind? That'd be really pathetic. The ICA would never live that down. Everyone would call them like the International Curly Agency. I don't know. Something like that.
Honestly, Agent 47. Smash.
Yeah. Of course. Is that even a question? Like, duh. Adoy. It's obvious. That means an obvious smash.
Agent 47 is completely hairless. His eyebrows, drawn, eyelashes, glued, diva to the core.
Diva to the girl. Get it, girly. Diva to the core. Get it, girly. Yeah. Dude, this guy. Today I will walk around in patterns that go in front of everyone I know, actually. Just in front of everyone. I bet I can shoot. Yay! I got it, I got it. Oh wait, I can come up here now, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is he gonna go over by the well? Oh, he's gonna do well stuff. He's gonna throw a coin in the well and be like, ooh. No? He doesn't give a fuck. I don't care. You don't care.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? What's up, dude? Are we just going back in the
If
room?
this game was good, Agent 47 would be able to disguise as any gender. Let him grow boobies with his enhanced genes. Imagine how sexy that bald boobied queen could be.
True.
Doc, if you're considering taking on an apprentice,
I believe there's a mod that lets you disguise
I
as
have an
like
knack for
anyone.
this. I'm just throwing it out there.
Why are these weapons just lying around?
Stay put.
And that would be
We'll get-
pretty funny. What's that guy doing? You good, bro?
No. Mazel tov to me. No, sir. Yeah, soldier boy. Not the face!
Easy.
Ezra Berg has been eliminated. Good work, 47.
And you're not gonna let me disguise as the Jason mask guy? Alright. Sure. there like a method of leaving that I haven't done? Quick war. Dress up as a scary man and kill your target with straw balls. Okay. Escape on a quad bike. Can you play the video game? Where's the quad bike? Hold on. They don't really tell you, do they?
Hey there, big guy.
Hi there. Hello.
Hello.
They care too much. Where is the quad bike? Is it over here? Yeah. Yeah, we like quadding out in our quads. Yeah, me and Gogan. Yeah, we go out and we shred in our quads. One time, we busted down the doors to a preschool with our quad and just started ripping donuts in there. Whatever. Fuck the quad. We'll come back for the quad. Fuck the quad. Fuck the quad. Silent killer. Unlocks email. Okay. F theft. Determinants he seemed calm. Interesting. Ooh.
Rose is gone.
It was me, wasn't it? They tracked me.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with my girlfriend while I scope in on this guy's balls. Check this out.
Do. You did well.
I can almost
Olivia.
smell
I'm
them
proud
through the
of you.
scope. I can almost see the little hairs poking out through his.
The ICA knows about you.
Alright, where to next? 70, 46, 31, 25, 26, 23, 19, 16. We're going to Mumbai, or Bombay. We have done none of those missions. La la la. We'll get a coin. Fiber wire. I'll hide over here. I don't know. Yeah, the hacker key. The hacker key. Equipment gun. The Today 21. We love that. Man of religion. Quote unquote natural. Road. Things. Independent. We're going as clown. We're going clown mode. It's the funny streamer outfit. I mean, come on.
Welcome to Mumbai, 47. One of the most densely populated cities in the world, home to more than 12 million people.
Need a Hitman style game, but you
If you
play
wanted
as the
to
thing.
disappear
That
and
would be
hide from
cool.
the world, this vast city is perfect. The maze-like sprawling slums offer secret paths and surprises around every corner. The elusive Maelstrom knows the city like the back of his own hand. Locating him will be a considerable challenge. A place to start could be the slums, where his former gang, the Crows, has recently risen from the ashes. Dawood Rangan will be easy to find in his half-finished tower, wrapping up his new film called Mumbai Hero.
Why would you live in a half-finished
While
tower?
Vanya Shah has
You could
ensconced
fall off.
herself in the overgrown remains of an old train yard.
What if you fart and roll
Your
over
3
15
targets
times
call
and you
this
roll off the
labyrinthine
ledge because you
part
live
of
on
the
the
city
top floor and
home,
the tower's not
so
finished
choose
yet?
your
What about all the
approach
construction workers doing construction? Why are capybaras so zen? They're so cool. How far is this one away? Not too far. Let's just go for it. It's fine if I bump into them. It's fine. If you look on the mini-map, they're not actually NPCs, so I'm not being rude. Hey, guys. Oh. What's all this? I've never seen this. And not jump up there. Okay. Jump up. No. Can't jump up there. Can't do that. Now jump up there. Okay. None of these ledges.
Where did you leave the costume for Dawood Rangan's movie? I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, I took care of it already.
Oh,
It was a rush
we're in
order,
a
so I washed it
tannery.
when I came in this morning. It's drying upstairs.
And you took extra care with it, right? The man who dropped it off said it was supposed to be used in the movie they're shooting in the tower.
Of course. I don't want to get on rank.
This probably isn't necessary. Clown.
Just...
do you know what we should do with the pledges from the hotel?
Adding clown stress to their workday right now.
The new foreman hasn't let anyone. I asked the guards if I could talk to them, but they said no. How are we supposed to know what we do next?
I haven't met the new foreman yet. Is he better than the last one?
पता नहीं यार. He's still in the office. I know Miss Shah is supposed to meet with him on the bridge and talk about how to make you lazy workers do more. But so far, he hasn't come out.
Who are you calling lazy? I work 15 hours every day.
हाँ पता है. Just relaying the words of Miss Shah. I think she's hoping this new guy will be liberal with his belt.
Come back another
if
time.
you know what I mean.
Do some more work.
Great.
Please, now.
Workers' rights issues. I see. This guy's gotta die. Everyone involved in management must die. I work here now. I'm the one guy who's white, who works here, and you don't need to worry about it. Everything's fine. I realize this costume actually does nothing for me here now. Oh, maybe this is. Maybe this. What the fuck is this?
I don't want to get on Rangan's bad side. It's
I don't
neatly
think this
folded
is gonna
upstairs.
help.
Don't you worry about it.
I'm an angel of jeans. Oh my god, it is made of denim.
Miss Shah wants to meet him up here
Oh.
for a talk, but he hasn't even left his office
Oh,
yet.
somebody call mom. It's covered in denim.
No. I think I accidentally scared him by telling him what she did to the guy who had the job before him. So my bet is he's hiding down there.
That's funny.
So
Poor guy
I know
had
he
no
kept
idea
locked.
what he was interviewing for. Did
Shah
he?
will explain
Didn't he
to
know
me
he
by
was going to be working for Shah?
Dude, I'm covered in denim right now.
How did I end up in a situation like this?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Remove to wake up. Denim moment. An angel of denim. It's crazy.
The screwdriver goes to the red wire. The red wire goes to the... अरे कहाँ जाता है यार? Hey, oh shit! Where does this go, yaar? I am fixing a fuse box just in case anybody was wondering.
This guy.
That's enough from you.
He's so silly. I feel bad choking him out. Yanking his windpipe. They're not going to see this body up here, right? Anyways. Care. I work here now. They're not going to see the body up here, right? Okay, cool. You know, because I work here now, and everything's fine. And I hug all my coworkers really tight on the neck. I put them in the coworker box for later. That way I'm in control. The gifts are gone. Not. Cool. Okay, I am gonna hide this guy's body, actually. Plain it say, oh my god, that tank top's so cute! Oh, I want that. That's cute. Okay. Oh, pause on it. Oh my god, they have two of them. Two of them! Poison bottle of water. Disguised as food dealers? Yeah, for a second, maybe. Just trying on the clothes, making sure they'll fit people. That's all. I thought that was my job.
Mind leaving?
Suck a cock?
The new foreman looks to be a dedicated worker. He hasn't left the office. Oh, no.
Drool on a cock? Blow bubbles on the dick? I need to come in. I'm coming in there.
I don't think so.
Opposition, opposition, health and safety.
I'm ready for my meeting with Miss Shah now.
Miss Shah's been waiting for this all day. The foreman's ready to meet up with Miss Shah on the bridge. We're heading there now.
Not alive.
Follow me to the bridge.
They don't call her the slum queen for nothing, my friend. Nobody can touch
We're going to the bridge.
Looking good. Hello. Don't just stand there. This isn't going to wash itself.
My arms are so tired.
Oh, Shane! Work faster. Yeah, whatever.
Damn, endings are so hard to write. It just feels like it keeps going on and on and on.
Aja, it's just through here. Miss Shah will be along soon. Better get your shit together if you don't want to end up like the old foreman. Samjha?
So, that's the new guy, huh? How long is he going to last, you think? A week?
Depends on what the Queen decides to do with him, I guess. He looks tough enough. Might last a week in the pits. Maybe even 2.
Maybe he's been working really hard on that report of his. Maybe she'll actually keep him on.
I can't imagine that. He's been hiding inside that little office of his all day, afraid to come out. I don't think he has what it takes.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see about that.
That is Vanya Shah, self-appointed queen of the
All
Mumbai
right.
slums.
She has her pointy-booted guards running after her.
The new foreman
mind
finally
yourself.
graces us with his presence. What do you have to report?
Well done, 47. You've managed to lure Vanya Shah out into the open. Anything could happen here.
Like what?
I see a lot of dead weight.
I've made a similar observation. Tell me more.
Well, the objective is find the root of the problem, work to get close to it, and then eradicate it.
I like your thinking. How would you approach the task you see before you?
My usual method is prepare intensely, study the problem, learn everything I can, analyze all approaches. The idea is to gently nudge people to do what I want. And then, once the objective is in my sights, perfect execution.
Not afraid to spill some blood in the process?
Not at all. In fact, I find that happens quite often.
I like you,
Pet,
Foreman.
pet, 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 pet.
I think this could be the beginning of a very fruitful relationship.
I aim to please, Michelle.
Hi.
You think I don't see you down there, little ants? Scurrying about at your own pace? Taking unnecessary breaks? Drinking my water? Wasting my money? You have had it Huh?
Fuck you, bitch.
Confirmed kill on Vanya Shaw.
Workers' Revolution! Luigi is a character you can play in Mario Party.
I can see him.
Ah!
Give him all you got, man.
Worth it. Worth it. Worth it. Play again. That was fun. That felt good.
Welcome to Mumbai, 47.
Thanks. Where's this one at? All the way over there. What about this one? All the way over there. What about this one? It's right there.
I need some help right now.
You know, like, shut up. Hold on. Swap tasks. Yeah, start by the taxi. Ooh, that's a good spot, actually. It's really good. Okay. Stupid weapons destroy only non-playable characters. Powerful weapons will kill them. Okay, that's a nice pro tip. Self-concealment can justify certain actions. Alright. Noted. It says no entry, but I do it anyway.
This is supposed to be a construction site. Public
I work here now. Become co-worker. Dang it. Poison. It's not toxic. Wait, I gotta go in the other one. Huh?
There's room for everyone here.
I'm sorry.
What?
Also, they misspelled April.
Hey, Gade.
Yeah, give me that. I don't know if I'll need it, but I would like to ask about privacy. Same. Same. Oi, oi, oi. Always trying to frick my day up. Yeah, got your gun. They should add a Squidward walking sounds mod to this game. And by they, I mean, at this point, I should figure out how to mod this game. It's a challenge for shooting like every camera. It's interesting. There's one over there. I mean, we might as well, right? It's easy. Just kind of do it. Whoa, 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 whoa. You ain't see shit. I ain't do nothing. Don't worry. Did not do anything you did not see. Anything. Oh, yeah.
Killer.
Hope that guy doesn't notice. Hope that guy doesn't notice. Hope that guy doesn't notice. Don't notice, don't notice, don't notice, don't notice. Nice. Alright, got that. Got the coin. Okay, okay, okay. I'll put it in TTS for you.
In my Borderlands playthrough, I'm playing a non-binary beast summoner. I get a pet skag that attacks enemies for me and bites them to shit. Without me choosing it was named Mr. Chew, which always makes me think of you.
Oh my god! I like didn't read. I didn't read it all the way. I was like, oh, you want that for TTS? Okay, I was like, I'll just put it in TTS and let her read it. Oh my god. That's so good. That's me. I'm just biting the shit out. Ah! And it named it that. Yeah. Yeah, that's me. Mr. Chew. Imagine a skag chew. That's nasty. I'm thinking about that right now. I know what those look like. Those are nasty little fuckers. That's perfect. Just a skagged out chew. With nothing to lose. Hell yeah, thank you for sharing. That put a big smile on my face. I just need a big place to dump this dude. Like right here. Don't mention it. I just kind of knock people out. I look for cameras, I shoot them.
Is the fan good to go? I know they're still trying to find the right lines for the shoot, but in case they do, we need to be ready with the deck.
You bet. I had to hack the controls to reduce the power output of the machine.
Dude, Denim Angels. Been streaming it and plan on making a long video about my playthrough. Once we finish it, you're welcome to see these Avengers. Hell yeah, I'll tune in.
Dancer, right? But I'm not a superhuman. I get tired, and when you get tired, you make mistakes, and that's when you get hurt. And what happens if I twist my arm?
Something like, oh hero, you're so strong.
Has anyone seen Gregory Arthur recently? I need him here for the final photo shoot with Mr. Rangan. Everyone else is ready. If anyone sees Gregory Arthur, let me know.
Okay. So we meet up.
Bro needs Gregory Arthur.
Gregory Arthur, a famous Broadway star, is apparently late for a photo shoot inside Rangan's unfinished tenement tower. Hang on. He uploaded a selfie on social media about half an hour ago. The Mumbai Food District. He's likely still there, 47.
That social media. Gotta be careful what you post. An assassin might know that you're eating food. Bad guys might know that you're a foodie. Yeah, shout outs to E4 Estrogen for being cool. Go check them out if you haven't. They're practically and literally a sister to me. Non-biologically speaking. I fall. Ooh, that's so good for my calves.
Hey,
I feel that. I feel that burn in my calves.
"47. I'm picking up Gregory Arthur's cell phone signal. He's close by.
Oh, he ate too many
47.
pizza.
The street gang known as the Crows are on high alert. They seem to be on the lookout for potential assassins and will be suspicious of anyone they don't recognize. I suggest you are mindful around them in the slums."
Uh-huh. Damn, dude, he's harfing up all the food.
A Redditor.
Wow.
Wow.
Huh? What was that sound?
This dude just be doing shit.
I wonder what that could be.
They really want me to fucking kill this guy. Yeah, they got crazy security going on. What the...
Oh, what the hell is that? That smells like my first dressing room off Broadway. That's lit. I didn't think I would ever smell anything that bad again.
Is he gonna go throw up again? Bro, is he just going around sniffing shit and getting sick? Oh my god, he is!
I'm sweating and cold. Maybe it's... Oh, maybe it's food poisoning or something. Whew, this is bad.
Dude, he's fricked up from the tummy up and down. He's got some kind of revenge.
Gotta hurl.
Whoa! It's fucking happening, dude. He's going hurl mode. Yeah, we gotta push him.
You gotta be. Okay.
Spam coins.
Great.
Interesting look, 47. Well, Darwood Rangan is at the tower expecting Mr. Arthur any minute now. No need to keep him waiting.
I gotta knock this guy out too.
Beautiful man.
Alright, yeah, he's cool. Yeah, let's just go. Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Madam, I'm already giving you a discount. I'm being very kind here.
I'm not giving you a discount. I'm being an asshole. That's what I would say. Hey boys. Open it up. Or not. Or just don't. Gotta get to work. I gotta get to work. I've been throwing up all day. I gotta get to work. I've been throwing up all day. Gotta get to work. Been throwing up 24 hours straight. Gotta get to work. Gonna fire my ass. They're gonna fire my ass. Fire my ass.
I'm here.
Excellent. This means we can get on with it. Good. Good.
No.
Wow, he's so loud every time. Why?
So, I just wanted to say, I absolutely loved you in Blundering Frights. I thought it was a brilliant
where'd her leg go?
performance in a very funny horror comedy.
Oh, thank you. You know, my brother directed it. I'll be sure to let him know you liked it. He didn't do very
Who's
well.
breathing over there?
But I understand it has become something of a cult classic in Europe.
I think it's a misunderstood master.
How's everyone? Ready for the photo shoot? I know I am, so let's do this.
Jesus. Why is she so like...
Folks, let's all get into position for the big photo, shall we?
All right. Let's get this done.
Jesus. She breathed so heavy.
Let's kick some ass.
Show me those teeth now. This is a big moment. Final wrap. Everyone's happy, right?
So, Miss Hassan, I guess you're ready for another round of Mumbai Heroes soon? I've got
Oh, this
big
is
plans
weird.
for a sequel. Big
This is what
plans.
photography's like.
You do. I think you will need to talk to my agent about that.
Ah, agents, I never did like them. Dekho, I prefer the more direct approach.
Acha. Well, I'm hopefully kicking off some international roles soon, so my availability may be limited.
I see. Well, I certainly hope nothing should happen that would prevent you from pursuing your goals, Miss Hassan.
Great work. Now, if we could do a few shots of just Mr. Arthur and Miss Hassan, please.
Arthur and Hassan? As if they're that important. I suggest we do another round of solo shots of the guy who gets first billing. Me!
If you say so, Mr. Rangan.
I do say so. Come, shoot. Oh, Gregory, stick around, huh? I want to talk to you when I'm done here. All right, people, get off the stage. It's time for the big guy to do his
We got it to
magic.
work,
Excellent,
but I'm in the
47.
bath now
It looks
and
like
can't
Rangan
hear.
wants a private word.
Splish,
I
splash, splish,
suggest you
splash,
humor the man.
splash. Yar
All
yay,
good.
yippee. We eat splish, splash, splash.
Get off the stage, Gregory. You've had? How about like this?
Well done, Mr. Rangan. That's excellent.
Or maybe this way is good, huh? The women really like this pose. When I pull off this look, all housewives in a 2-mile radius will faint automatically.
Beautiful, Mr. Rangan.
Let's get some brownie points. Wow, you're so cool. Guys, I'm with the coolest guy ever. Posting this, boss, I'm gonna post this on Instagram with the hashtag. I have the coolest boss
I
ever.
think that's enough beauty shots for one day.
Great. That's a wrap then. Champagne for everyone.
Keep out of my way.
Arey, मैं कह रहा हूँ, great things will come from this movie, guys. Let me tell you, I've got a feeling that This one is the one that will make me famous. You know, it just goes to show that hard work and dedication is what is needed in this business, yaar. You know, I got the champagne from a movie business contact. You know, he was so impressed with the production of the film, he just insisted on sponsoring the party, yaar. Famous film director in America. Yaar, I might go there next week to talk about distribution deals for Mumbai Hero.
Mr. Rangan, you wanted to see me.
Ah, Gregory. Yes, yes. Come with me upstairs. I have something
Shit.
important to talk to you about.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, those hors d'oeuvres look fucking great, though. Honestly, TBH, I want to eat some of those.
Gregory. As you know, there's a lot at stake with a production like this. Everyone needs to play ball. We're on the same team after all.
Who's this chuckle?
But it's important to establish a pecking order. Soon, all of Mumbai will be mine. I'm sure you can imagine what that means. Okay, Gregory. I just need my friend here to pat you down.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, is that so?
Don't want any recording devices or things like that accidentally going off. I'm sure you understand.
No, I don't want to get the gun back.
Where are you going?
I'm dropping off all my illegal shit, sir. One sec.
I need to pat you down if you want to proceed.
Pat me.
Funny. My mother always said I had good hands. Said I should have been a surgeon.
Weird. She probably said that because they make a lot of money.
Clean as a whistle, sir. Go on.
Dude, there's a lot of fucking dudes following us. The hell?
All right, Gregory, here's the deal. And don't interrupt me, all right? I hate being interrupted. You're a smart guy, I know that. Big deal back in America.
Picks
But
up
the thing
bricks.
is, I don't like you. I don't like the way you dress, the way you behave yourself around the women on set, or the way you try to steal my thunder. I'm willing to overlook all of this, Gregory, because we can make great things together. However, and this is very important, if you ever try to take my place, if you ever think you can become bigger than Daud Rangan, you're in for a world of hurt. I will destroy you and your family. Your mother, your friends, your pets, anyone and everyone will die. Do as I tell you, and I can make you more famous than you've ever dreamed of. Cross me, and you're dead. Understood?
I think I understand.
Excellent. In that case, we're done here.
All right. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. Mission complete. Get talked down to. Hell yeah. That's the mission, chat. That's the whole mission. He's gonna be mean to that guy down there now. A lot of guns up here. Nowhere to drop down. Sad. La la la.
Hey there.
Hey. I'm just saying. Yeah, choke 'em. Get my gold baller back. No entrance here. Gotta climb up. Oh yeah, I can't have this fucking, like, assault rifle on my back. That is true.
What the hell are you all doing down there? This is the final day of shooting, and you look like you're all on coffee breaks. Kaam karo chalo, get moving. Arey, I cannot believe I have to tell you this again. We are spending millions of rupees every day.
I thought the
on
dude
this
had, like,
movie,
crazy
and it's all
midriff.
going up in flames. Baap ka paisa hai kya? The script is missing. Gregory Arthur is missing. I mean, is anything in order here?
Bro, I'm here.
What results, people? Now!
God, what a cunt.
Ah, good, good. Is our friend about ready to cooperate?
He's a slimy little bastard, but I think he's coming around. Would you like to talk to him?
That I would.
Fetch.
That?
Oh.
Don't throw that around here.
Damn it.
What are you, 8.5?
That's very specific.
I don't even think you're a D-lister, so there's no way.
Ouch. Ouch, my fee-fees. That shit hurt my feelings. What the hell? Ouch goes the feelings, you know?
And if you think you can pull a double agent on me, don't bother. I literally made a movie about that, so I know all the tricks.
I made a movie about that.
Oh, hero, you're so strong.
Just don't know what to do. Well,
I made a movie about
Jesus fucking Christ on an ass fucking bike. You can't be wearing fucking wings like that. It's fucking cultural fucking appropriation from fucking fancy fucking owls.
The worst part about it, it's nothing but denim. It's pure denim. Oh no, they know. It's pure denim. Ain't nothing but denim. Sick. Yeah. It's like I'm Justin Timberlake when he was with Britney. And they were in denim.
Every day on this movie, and it's all going up in flames. Baap ka paisa hai.
Bro, shut the fuck up.
The script is missing.
I got you in my sight.
I need help.
Sometimes you just throw a brick at a guy. Actually. I have an idea. So.
Dude is bricked up to fuck.
Oh.
Wow. Do you think that was anything?
Oh, sorry.
Would you go check, yeah? All right, Greg.
Don't worry about it.
Here's the
Don't
deal.
worry about it.
And don't interrupt me, all right?
I won't.
I hate being interrupted. You're a smart guy, I know that. Big deal back in America. But the thing is, I don't like you. I don't like you. Damn! Don't you dare!
Apun bol raha hai. Think I just heard something.
Dude is bricked up to fuck.
Dawood Rangan is confirmed killed. No rest for the wicked, however. On to the next one.
Easy work. Easy work. He's a little bricked up. And it's okay.
C3PO. Dude is bricked up to fuck.
What's wrong with C3PO? What happened?
Dude is bricked up to fuck, but also so down to earth.
That's how Hitman worked.
Dude is bricked up to fuck.
Hey, check that out. I hear you.
Hey, go check that out. Easy work. Easy work. I become you. You now. More stuff. Thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I'll go for it. What's in here? I got to know. Let me in. This place looks cool. What's on here? That plays the greatest hits CD. Oh man, it's too tempting. It's too tempting. I'm not gonna do it. It's just really tempting.
Holding it down.
Yep. You know it, buddy. Alright, so since we killed him, actually, loads. Let's go to loads mode. Hey, thank you for the follow, Shiv Laugh Love. Much appreciated. What's up, Shiv?
That's
Follow the wind. We gotta follow the wind.
कैसे हो? How are you?
We're gonna follow the wind. Ordered a cheesesteak. Oh. Body found. What?
Put your money where your mouth is, yard. I'm not surprised.
They found that dude's body. Oh no. They found that guy's body too. Are you in India in this game? Yeah, right now I am. Yes. I'm in Mumbai. I'm taking out some pretty evil slumlord types.
Idiots will faint automatically.
You're a natural at this, Mr. Rangan.
All right. I think that's enough beauty shots for one day.
He's so full of
That's a wrap
himself.
then. Champagne for everyone.
Okay, okay. So we meet up.
Oh, and then they find the body. Why?
Coming round to him. He saved me.
That's where my parents are from? Oh shit.
Great things
I didn't
will
know.
come from this movie, guys. Let me tell you, I've got a feeling that this one is the one that will make me famous. You know, it just goes to show that hard work and dedication is what is needed in this business, yeah. You know, I got the champagne from a movie business contact. You know,
Sorry, I
he
gotta
was so
focus.
impressed with the production of the film, he just insisted on sponsoring the party. Yeah. Was that?
Dawood Rangan is confirmed killed.
Somebody has to help me.
Accident here. For real.
Oh,
Choke
my
'em.
goodness gracious. You're so deep inside my circuits you might overload my linguistic processor.
Shut up, bitch. Daddy didn't say you could speak.
I'm gonna. Oh,
The deal. And don't interrupt me, all right? I hate being interrupted. You're a smart guy, I know that. Big deal back in America. But the thing is...
Hey, how did you get in here, sir?
What? You can't walk off? Damn it. I thought I could save some time. Guys, I did like law tech formatting all day.
And it's all going...
It feels really good to just kill people in a video game.
Up in flames.
I gotta tell you.
Baap ka paisa hai kya?
Walk
The
2.
script is missing. Gregory
Thank you.
Arthur is missing. I mean,
Did you just spit on me from TTS?
I want results, people.
I'm not gonna eat that. It looks like
Disgusting.
What is Dawood? I'm thinking about, yard. I'm hungry. Hey, check that out.
All right.
Yeah, we got to the makeup room.
Just one scene.
Oh god, I was so...
Looks like the fan has been set up again. Do you know why they haven't shot it yet? Karishma threw the
I
last copy
spit
of the
bars
script
so
into the
nasty
elevator
hawk
shaft.
to
He doesn't want to do the scene with Rangan. He still wants to do the kiss. Are the nerve of this guy?
Chutya. He's a
H. Master
and
Luke,
Karishma isn't
Master
having
Anakin used to do me
I
raw.
think she's crazy
Why
to play
can't you do
something
me dirty like that, Master
seems to
Luke?
be working.
Engage
Let's
my
hope nobody
restraining
finds the
bolt.
script then. Rangan does.
The production of Mumbai Hero is coming to a close, but it seems there's a spot of trouble. Lead actress Charisma Hassan has refused to do a kissing scene with Rangan and has got rid of the script by tossing it down an elevator shaft. Shame. The scene features the use of a large industrial wind machine. Could be worth investigating.
I'm in danger.
Some assurance that Vanya Shah won't find out. I think you need to worry about your situation here and now. And if you think you can pull a double agent on me, don't bother. I literally made a movie about that, so I know all.
Put your hands on Bollywood? What does that mean? What does that objective goal mean?
Don't know what to do. Well,
Want to see someone get blasted off the side of a building? Yeah. Same.
drop you? Really?
He's doing some real evil shit up there. Wait, can I be in here?
Time to fly.
I wonder. Let's go. No, yeah. It's just everyone knows that I'm not the guy. That I'm not that guy. Let's just go for it. Make a mad dash. Hey guys. Hey guys. Just having a little look-see.
Amazing how Rangan managed to put together another epic, huh? I can't wait to see the result.
Sometimes I'd be dry humping in the backseat of the Uber. What's wrong, liberal? Too much come for ya. It's my coming, I want it now. Call J. G. Wentworth. 8. 7. 7. Come now.
He was trying to remember his numbers. In the Uber. Sometimes I come in the Uber. I'm thinking the security cameras we need to destroy are probably in the other part of this level. Put your hands on Bollywood. Does that mean get that guy's costume? This game's so confusing.
Dawood Rangan has leased an industrial-strength fan, normally used for clearing smoke from construction tunnels. That's a beast of Machine 47. The crew had put some sort of limiter on the fan output, but maybe you could make a few changes.
Maybe I can make a few changes. Hey. Dang it.
Oh, test subject. Time for your very appropriate and not subtly erotic countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I'm not this horny.
Yeah, you like robots, don't you?
What?
Huh?
Oh no! Had to happen. Hey, Mr. Big Shot, huh?
Installing you to.
Dang it. Install me to what? Install me to what?
Luigi Tilda, it's 4 p.m. Time for your weekly pegging session.
Which Luigi?
But he's always talking about perfection, right? When he gives those pep talks.
Will you please go check out what that was?
I am
Dawood Rangan has leased an industrial-strength fan, normally used for clearing smoke from construction tunnels. That's a beast of a machine, 47. The crew have put some sort of limiter on the fan output, but maybe you could make a few changes.
Right. Just as I thought.
Huh?
Arey yaar! Why are you throwing that? You can hit someone.
Look, I'm not gonna eat that. It looks like dog food. What is Dawood even thinking about, yaar?
I actually sent one of the boys down to get some street food yesterday. Just couldn't get
Poison hole.
food down. Hello, talented man.
No! They know! Luigi, I'm gonna unload on your back like Luigi Mansion. Wow.
Wow. Maybe I should try to make a Grey Leno custom voice. Like Grey Leno from Vinesauce. Or I mean from the Grey Leno show. You know.
Disrespectful. Which really should have done that other movie. Dead, yaar. You know the other movie I told you about? Huh? Hey man, watch out! You could hit someone.
Dawood Rangan has leased an industrial-strength fan, normally used for clearing smoke from construction tunnels. That's a beast of a machine, 47. The crew have put some sort of limiter on the fan output, but maybe...
What are you doing? That's an exhaust port, not meant for... Oh, I see you're attempting to mate. Very well. Almost there. Too bad. I finished first.
She's so mad. I finished first.
Luigi Mangione, more like Luigi gimme your
Leno.
Lodi ha.
Dawood Rangan has leased an industrial
Grey Leno
strength
looks
fan,
unsettling. No,
normally
Grey
used
Leno
for
is
clearing smoke from construction
comfy,
tunnels.
cozy.
That's a beast of a machine, 47. The crew have put some sort of limiter on the fan output, but maybe you could make a few changes.
I'm having a little bit of difficulty. Having a little bit of difficulty here. Having a little bit of difficulty. A good bag is a great way to move dirty things. Pine gas can be caused by sparks resulting from lead exposure. Interesting tips. Interesting.
I'm not gonna eat that. It looks like dog food.
Strange. Luigi, main
you
guy,
mind
any?
checking that out?
More like licking these man feet on me. Yeah.
Dawood
that
Rangan
works.
has leased an industrial-strength fan, normally used for clearing smoke from construction tunnels. That's a beast of a machine, 47. The crew have put some sort of limiter on the fan output, but maybe you could make a few changes.
Why? Why does it keep dropping? Come here. Pick up the mouse vomit poison. Yes. They didn't hear that? Okay. Okay. God damn it. God. Come on.
Odd.
You heard?
Haji, alright.
Oh, jeez. Kratos,
Okay.
hello. I am Christopher Judge. You may know me from such TV shows as MacGyver and Stargate SG-1. Indeed. Yafa Kree. Shapa I.
Is anyone there?
Yes!
Fuck Mary Kill. Vaporeon. Lucario. Lopunny.
I don't know them well enough. I definitely fucked that Lucario, though. And I heard the Vappy Plap is pretty much unparalleled, so I'm not sure. Bro, was about to snack, and I ruined everything. I am the participant in the Bollywood film production. Search for the missing documents. Yes.
There they are.
Gotta climb down.
Wow, Vappy Plap. I'm going to shoot myself.
Yeah, that's something I hear in a lot of circles these days. Like Vappy Plap 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 Plap. I'm not sure what that means, other than it's about fucking the Pokemon. Known as Vaporeon. Nice, I got his creepy script where the girl has to do the kiss scene. I have a Lucario onesie. Do I get fucked? No comment, no comment, no comment.
There's only one Pokemon circle I care about, and it's Mewtwo's Cloaca.
Cloaca. I love you, Chad, but let's not get too personal here, okay? But, yeah, sure. I'll wear my gerbil, onesie. I don't actually have a gerbil onesie. I just like saying, you know, I want to have a gerbil onesie at some point. I want to be the Gluck Gluck hamster, but really, Jabroni Mike already has that covered. I'm pretty sure he's essentially has the copyright over Gluck Gluck hamster at this point. Oh, there's ads going? I mean, I guess I would tell you, but there's ads going. I need it to not seem like I have Twitch groupies. That's how I'll say it. If it seems like I have Twitch groupies, that's a bad look. Hi, Mr. Director. The most dedicated employee right now. The most dedicated fucking employee right now. Director, I found the creepy script.
There's only one Pokemon circle I care about, and it's Mewtwo's Cloaca.
Cloaca. Holy shit. King Sonadal, thank you for the subscription with Prime Gaming. Thank you so much. Subscribed for 80 years now, you are. I'm kidding, I just made that up. That's not true. But imagine.
Oh, Mike, I wanted to thank you for teaching me that jab cross left hook combination last week. You know, I made good use of it last night.
Is that right? Good to hear it, Mr. Ryan.
Yeah. You know, one of those stunt people, he decided to get a little, fresh with his You know how people get your...
I should probably hide this guy's body and stuff.
I think he underestimated my force.
Oh, I have to be... I have to be dressed as one of those people? Okay. Gotta support the boy. Thank you.
I'm
down
with the sickness.
What the fuck
I'm
is this
bricked
voice?
up with no witness.
What the fuck is this voice? Oh, that one's bad. That one's bad. That one's bad. Oh, I love it. I love that. That's really good. That's rotten. That's rotten. And yeah, I know it's you, Ducky. I know it's you. Hi. What's up? What's up? Yeah, I know that's you. Hey, what's up? Oh, wow. Oh. Woo! That's something else. Well, I can't wait to hear that for the next fucking 8 streams straight. Wait, that guy's not the director? He's just like the... Oh, man.
Sadness is stored in the balls.
Any emos in chat can confirm this is what you sound like.
I found this.
The script? You found it. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Listen, the scene needs the fan to be running. Run over and man it, will you? Right before the scene starts, I'll signal to you to turn it on. Just make sure the safety is on and you don't go above the indicated power. I'll round up everyone.
You got it.
Good work, 47. Darwood is hurrying down now to act out the final scene with Hassan. Let's make sure he doesn't run out of wind.
Great news, everyone. I have found the script. Get to your places. We are ready to shoot. All right, everybody. Mr. Rangan is on his way. We just need to get this one scene in the can, and then that is a wrap.
Did I turn it up too early?
To be rude, but this is getting a little too cozy for my personal taste.
Karishma, here's that last line that you kept missing.
I'm gonna save because I feel like I'm about to fuck this up.
Sadness is stored in the
I'm yours forever and not this hero.
Right. So, what's my motivation here? Like, why kiss him?
Beautiful.
He is a foul pirate after all.
You love him.
My wife left me into the pits. My wife left me into the
Queen had clouded your mind
My
all those
wife
years, but
left
after he
me
set you free, you realized that
My wife fucked the
I
mailman
don't.
and my boss.
It sounds kind of unrealistic to me. I mean, sure, he saved me and everything, and I understand why I would be grateful. But a kiss? Maybe just a firm handshake. Or a hug even.
You're full of love, Karishma. Mumbai has been rescued, set free. The pirate is not the evil person portrayed by the Witch Queen. Her attempts to kill him through the use of the assassin have failed. This is the beginning of your future together. I think it's a beautiful moment and it requires a kiss to seal the magic.
Hope you're getting some good shots
the last
today.
line again?
All right, people. Time to get this show on the road. I'm here. My lips are ready for the final, most
Gross.
important shot of the film. Karisma, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, let's get this show on the road. Start the fan.
All right. If you say so.
Blast these
Fast
fuckers.
marks, come on.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, that would. You saved me, didn't you?
Yes. The witch rests in hell now, along with her assassin. You're free.
It's like a veil has been lifted from my eyes. She poisoned my mind against you. I thought you were the villain.
Her magic was powerful, but it's gone now. It's just you and me now, Mumbai. If you will have me, I will protect you. Always.
I'm yours forever. Now kiss me, hero. I'm sorry. I cannot do this.
Cut! Karishma, come on!
Can we talk, please?
Oh, fine. Fine. One moment, Mr. Rangan. We'll be right back. Karishma, look. I understand
was
that you
weird.
don't want to do this, but we really do.
Are the wind! Are it's too much! Stop the fan!
Oh shit, oh shit!
Darwood Rangan is confirmed killed. No rest for the wicked, however. On to the next one.
I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't have anything to do with this. Had nothing to do with this. I didn't have nothing to do with this. Yeah, you know, the potentiometer. Yeah, the pot. You know, they shorten it. You know, they assume you know. This game doesn't treat you as dumb. You know, pot short for potentiometer. It knows you know. Everyone knows that common knowledge. Common knowledge.
Oh shit! Oh shit! That guy was blown!
It's a streamer voice. They should call that streamer voice.
Oh shit, dude, did you see that? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Potentiometer. I guessed how to spell that.
47?
Is it
Our
right?
intel suggests the Maelstrom is hiding somewhere in the city slums.
Yes.
I've marked the headquarters of the Crows on your map.
I have to kill birds? Huh? That guy ran past me really fast.
Listen, I'm telling you the truth. There's the Metal Five. He was recruited by the British to work as a spy. No way.
Flip, flip, the
So
switch.
you also support the conspiracy in India instead of college?
Cannot open the door.
But listen, think about it. If we come here, we have secret meetings with the government, and just weeks after, Maelstrom disappears from Mumbai.
And it's on.
Obvious it was a recruitment. Queen Elizabeth II herself recruited him as a spy for England? Obviously.
You didn't hear that? What? What?
Ah, that's awesome.
Guys, you don't have to make these maps so detailed. No, they do. Body found? Where? Bitch, where? Whatever. Who cares? I'm you now.
Honest, choked out, like and subscribe.
Actually, I can.
Chad, I don't know why I knocked her out. I don't know why I did.
Until then, though.
No access. There's an important meeting.
Just make sure you have my back when the shit hits the fan.
Just ran past that guy. Too easy.
Necessary to have all you people stationed around here? I told him, and I've told you.
We
I
went
can
up to
take
the
care of
mountain to
myself.
see.
You're scaring the
She knew
neighbors.
too much.
Madam, samjho na. Just following orders. Boss told us to evacuate everyone and stick around until after the meeting. That's what we are doing.
So you have talked to him.
Nobody talks to the boss. He left a message. When are you ready for us to give the signal?
Boss, he's still up to his old tricks, isn't he?
Look at the house.
Be ready
What?
soon. Give me some time.
Fine.
What house?
Just tell the guys upstairs when.
What?
They'll raise the flag and summon him.
Huh? Look in the house? Look at the house. A vault. Oh, hi! Oh, hi! No, it's normal. What I do. Things I do are normal. Only normal guy shit here. I'm really into normal core. A message to the vortex of
A
chaos.
letter signed Wazir. This house once belonged to the Maelstrom, 47. This confirms a
I know
connection
we're
between
supposed to raise
him
the flag
and the
when
woman
Mr.
living here
Nehal
now.
tells us. But how is he going to see it from the slums?
I don't know.
It's time to call the fucker.
You want to go? Is that it?
Let's see who came to the meeting.
He's the Maelstrom. He's got eyes everywhere, you know.
What the shit? Motherfucker.
Damn. He's a little angry. They love the way I
47?
grab.
Someone's coming up the stairs leading to the secured area. It looks like a man. See if you can get close to him.
Okay. I'm real close to him, Diana. Real close. Real close, Diane.
Boss, you're here.
Where is it?
Just
Oh
inside
my god,
here.
it's the Redditor. Gronko came to the meeting. Double Dick Guy 84 came to the meeting. The diphallic homie who knew too much.
47? That's the Maelstrom. You found him.
That's the Maelstrom. Boss doesn't really do these sort of things.
Boss don't really do that. Boss just sit around all day.
Okay.
Play Fortnite. Boss play Fortnite till his booty cheeks go numb.
She's ready for you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Madam, he's here. Are you ready?
What? But...
Huh?
Come on, let's just see what it was.
Apun samjha.
Wazir? Oh, you're early. Well, come on in, I guess.
Thank you, Neha.
I have prepared something to drink out back. In the sun. Let's go
Huh?
out there.
Apun ko kya malum? I don't know what that was.
That sounds very nice.
Is he gonna come around this way? What's going on? Okay.
Bro, I'm so humped up on the Dagobah juice, I can't tell what text is real and what text is fake. How do I even delete a person?
You know, the gangs, they eradicated us
Oh,
overnight.
jeez.
Virtually no one survived.
Yeah, we delete them. That's what we do. And trust me, yeah, no, I have no fucking clue sometimes what they're saying.
It was all I could do.
It really makes the game a lot more challenging.
Lay low, change my name, my identity, everything about myself. Before I knew it, I had men and women gathered around me. We sailed the seas for years.
That's why they call him the Maelstrom? Because he sailed the sea for
Hey, go and
years?
see what's going on. I'm not taking any chances here.
Yes, understood. Dekho, kuch nahi, it's nothing.
Sure thing.
Okay, so we are to... One is to kill the Maelstrom. He's sipping that Dagobah juice. Subdue. Snap.
This die is a file, and that fall is the recycling bin of life.
They call me the Maelstrom because I like strumming male's banjo strings.
So true. The frenulum is a beautiful and underappreciated instrument. Do you play the frenulum? I gotta make him stand up.
What?
Huh? 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 Yeah, oh.
The infamous Maelstrom is dead. Very well done, 47. Just one target left. Let's bring this one home.
We have to bring him home? Oh, jeez. Okay. I'll come back for him later. not today.
It's not about how well you play. It's about the friendoms you met along the way. Why you?
It's a hard way of life, but you'll come to love it.
So true. Had to do it, man. Had to do it. Had to do it, buddy. He was right there. He was right there, okay? He was right there. He was right there. I couldn't resist. His wily charms. His sitting on the edge of the roof.
The infamous Maelstrom is dead. Very well done, 47. Just one target left. Let's bring this one home.
What the hell? This place is crazy.
I dreamed I saw my maternal grandmother sitting by the bank of a swimming pool
Oh, no.
that was also a river. In real life, she had been a victim of Alzheimer's disease and had regressed, before her death, to a semi-conscious state. In the dream, as well, she had lost her capacity for self-control. Her genital region was exposed dimly. It had
Jordan
the appearance
Peterson.
of a thick mat of hair. She was stroking herself, absent-mindedly.
God, he really just put that in a book, man. I was. It sounds fucking disturbed, and I don't know what reminded me of it, but I thought about that the other day. Like it's so like I guess it just pops into my head, and I hate that he put that in my brain.
Did you
Hey,
have any
Egghead.
luck?
No, that tailor is impossible. I explained to his employee that Miss Shah wants to meet with him, but he claimed that the tailor wasn't available.
So you didn't just go inside and look?
Only the royal guard can do stuff like that. I'm sure Miss Shah will send someone with more hands-on experience than me. He's the only tailor in town that can make that damn dress.
That's what happens when you drown all the others, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Where do we got to go?
It appears Vanya Shah is in the market for a dress fit for a queen. She's sent after a local tailor.
Yeah, I mean,
but for
he
some
wanted to
reason,
tell
the
us
man
about his
refuses
dream.
to cooperate. A man of your impeccable taste should be able to fill in perfectly for the tailor.
You know, he wanted to keep us up to date. He wanted to be honest. Why don't they just like investigate the guy who takes off and books it running, and turns away from them really fast? They never care.
You there,
Meanwhile,
sir, please.
I gotta come inside.
Oh, Vikram, what are you going to do?
Listen,
He was
I have
sent
go
to
out
find
for
a
while.
technician wearing
If anyone
underwear,
asks for me, just
but
tell him
he
I'm not here.
refused.
Yeah, that's what it said. So we gotta do that? Package to be misused.
Silk, cotton, linen, beautiful colors.
Has anyone seen Bhavin Sagar? I have a job interview today and I desperately need him to shave me.
Need to be shaven. Need to be shaven.
Excellent. Let's find out what kind of dress a woman like Vanya Shah wants.
I need a hand here. Someone. I need
Women,
some help.
take the shotgun.
Is something up or what?
I think I heard something. Someone's in trouble, that's for sure.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Man, these are some really high-waisted pants. Bro, they're not gonna recognize him? I gotta just go for it. Shut up.
Someone, please. I need some.
Go.
Babe, it's 4 p.m. time for your package to be
Shah wants a
misused.
cerulean dress, 47. Perhaps you will be able to source a roll of the right fabric at the local
Oh,
cloth.
we gotta make a dress. Keep quiet.
Help me!
Keep quiet. No one say anything. I need to make a dress. Cerulean. Alright.
I could really use some help here.
I like getting my peanuts, twist them right off. Unscrew it.
I don't know. I need the money, but...
Just take it off.
Oh, good.
Unscrew it.
I need your help.
It's time for my packet to be misused. Can't interact with channel points again, but I thought I'd come back and I say I had a nice bath. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna take the shotgun. That's a feminist I can get behind. Exactly. They need the capability to defend themselves. And I need to look less suspicious. So it's a win-win. And plus, who doesn't love a lady who's extremely pregnant and has a shotgun? Prego with a shotgun. Yeah, that's a subdue.
Have you seen Sanjay recently?
He lost a small fortune to me in a poker game a few nights ago, and I haven't seen him. I bet he's...
Look, man, I know you're freaked out.
I'm straight up chorking my peanuts right now, bro.
Bloody time! Come with me.
Who's seeing me right now? Hold on. Bro, hold on. Oh, okay, good. We're going this way. Cool. Bro, what's that guy seeing?
Grab his dick and twist it.
I wish I
Twist his
could.
dick.
Dying to meet
I wish I
Give him
could.
the oil dick twist.
I'm trying to.
Disappoint her then.
I don't know what the
That
button
is
is
a
for
good
that.
idea.
I keep pressing
She's
D,
not
but it
been
just makes me
happy with
move to the
other
right.
dealers. A word of warning. Just play along with her
I
eccentricities.
tied a fishing
could be
line
rather
around my
dangerous.
nuts and attached
Thank
the
you.
other end
I'll
to
do
this
my
industrial
Good
ceiling
man.
fan.
Do well and there will be
We
a
will
lot of
see
money in
just
it
how
for
much
you.
force
know.
my taint can withstand before my nuts get ripped. Fucking clean off my body. Fuck yeah.
Please stream it and record it and post the VOD. It will be necessary for human research.
She's here we are. Fair. Just go through there. The queen is waiting for you in the garden.
Shrek, I'ma take you to Pound Town.
That is not the wisest decision to make when in a financial situation.
I'm gonna save here. Y'all talking about Shrek? What's going on?
Of course, eventually you'll have extra hands to assist you with your income. Provided the child lives so long.
That is the problem. Little Raji is not well.
5 years, Mr. Hussein.
5 years, my queen.
Yes. 5 additional years of servitude to your queen. For you and your wife. In exchange, I will take care of the bills for your new one until she is old enough to work the spinning mills. That is my offer,
I'ma
Mr.
take
Hussein.
you to Pound Town.
I expect your acceptance tonight.
Me in the back of the line.
I'ma take you to Pound Town.
The elusive.
Hang the stones in the bag or cross the blue cross.
Will you be
Dealer.
the hawk to my
Here at
tuah?
last. Let's have a look at the cloth you've chosen. Excellent. Finally, some progress here. Come with me. I want you to take my measurements.
Shrek, I will also take you to
Smart
Pound
work,
Town.
47.
You can
Shaw
call
will
me
want to
Donkey.
have privacy when measuring for the dress. I'll leave the final execution. up
Bro,
to
pride of some sort. Pride of some kind.
You
We're gonna
there.
take a measurement.
Leave us. I want some privacy. Let's start the measuring right away. If you didn't bring a tape, I'm pretty certain one of the other tailors left theirs behind. You can use that. They won't need it.
Donkey, I want to have the gay sex with the wooden boy.
What are you waiting for? Get on with it.
Abdominal measurement.
Relax your back, please, Miss Shah.
Science of measurement.
Measure your arms now, Miss Shah.
I'm gonna measure
Turn around, please,
her.
Miss Shaw.
Then
I
we
need
will
to
hold
measure
hands.
shoulder to shoulder.
She's my girlfriend.
You've
my
probably
girlfriend.
heard about the other dealers. How some of them ended up in the gutters because they didn't please me. This dress is important to me. Well, not the dress itself, but what it represents. You see, there are those out there who do not want to pay
God of
tribute
war.
to their queen.
God of pain.
People who
God
think the
of big
value of
booty
their
Greek
lives
boys.
can be measured in money.
Athenians
It
with
started
donkeys
one
the
man.
size of
These
Kronos
things spread
himself.
like ripples in the water.
Rippling with every slap like the
Soon
river
another,
Styx.
Then a third. Tributes to your queen keep you alive.
I'm
not
at
money.
Burger King with my
Eventually, you
Burger
will find a
Queen.
craftsman who understands
Can
the
I
true
please
value of
get a
life.
large
Is that
fry?
I wonder.
That's all
Voice.
I need, Miss Shah. I'm done here.
Excellent work. See yourself out. Your queen has other business to attend to.
She's supposed to be here this whole time.
Wanna go take a look? Yes, whatever.
That was strange. Huh?
Okay, listen, please. I'll give
Okay,
you my
you win that one. All right, you ducked. Good job.
Can I please get a large fry?
I'll just
Science of
measure your
measurement.
arms now, Miss Shah.
Spam it. Speed run.
Turn
Measurement,
around,
speed run.
please, Miss Shah. I need to measure shoulder to shoulder.
I'm gonna show her a
Confirmed
sweet
kill on Vanya
flip
Shaw.
on
Excellent
my
work.
skateboard.
Mission completed.
She
Time to find an exit.
smells of cloves.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Can I please get a chomp of fat-ass barks?
I wish there needs to be a bark sound effect. I think there is one. Maybe. Maybe it's just bark. I don't know my own PTS system that well. Pick up. He won't do that. Okay. Damn it! They noticed that.
Bark.
Okay. No bark. Sad. There's sound effects listed there at least. At least.
I'll just measure your arms now, Miss Shaw. I'll just measure your arms now, Miss Shaw.
I'll just measure.
Confirmed kill on Vanya Shaw. Excellent work, 47. Mission completed. Time to find an exit.
Anyways.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
I'm a hero.
Can I please get a chomp of fat ass?
What the dog doing?
Close enough. Ow.
Hey, Hey, what the hell? Hold it, man.
No.
Where is he?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody chill.
Queen had someone killed the other day. Oh, can you believe it? A tailor or something.
Everything's fine. Everybody chill. Everything's fine.
You are the big homosexual.
Yeah, I know.
Guys, it's not there.
Oh wow. I love that TTS still lets it go through. Even if it was something horrible, and automod stopped it, it still loads into TTS. That's good to know. I've actually known of this issue. It's fine. To hide like the queen's servants. Pick up crane arm. Interesting. The E for everyone box. Wait, there's still a mission we can do? Wait, what? Why does it say that? Interesting. Uh-oh. Oh, it's like we can do it the next time. Permitted term, you're the big homosexual. Oh. Well, there's your problem. Okay, I thought it would, like, stay. Oh, you can just crash it and... Oh. Well, that's nasty. Oh, that's gnarly.
Wait. He's allowed up there, but we're not. Hey! What exactly is going on here?
A podcast with slides.
With slides and pronouns.
Was that honk necessary?
I've been working on my new novel, The Whore of the Rings. It's about a thick-ass short woman, a.k.a. Slobbit, cause her top is fire, and she travels with Gandalf. I'm J.R. Strokin, by the way.
Slobbit!
A slobbit. Like a hobbit that sucks your dick.
Here's our top 5 reasons why you are a certified bottom. Reason 3 will blow you away.
TikTok voice. Southern roof, northern roof, with eyelashes, poor apartment, more, stand, metal crafting, shawl, bad apartment, taxi, vomiting syringe Mark II, old crowns, eco explosion proof microphone, remote charging by electromagnetic pulse. Interesting. Homecoming. I feel like I have maybe like one more in me. Romagna.
According to records, this was a youth correctional facility until 1962, when the estate was overtaken by an obscure Soviet research fund, the Institute for Human Betterment.
Looks deserted.
The place was abandoned after a fire in '89. Then, only a few weeks ago, it was acquired by an anonymous investor using cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin!
Lucas Gray.
I just bought more land in the metaverse.
The breadcrumbs were almost
Now I'm getting paid cash for that with this.
Could be a trap.
Not a
The
trap.
virtual land over across the globe. Across the globe.
An invitation.
The globe is visible. Couple. Oh, God, I hate that fucking crypto bro Luigi. I hate him. I hate him. Yeah, let's do some more. Let's do some, like, more.
Welcome back to Watch Mojo, where we're counting down our top 10. That's it. We're just counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Gotcha again. I'm not that horny.
Film honk. I recall someone getting in trouble for saying that word, actually, even though they had the same racial background as me, so I'm not going to say that. But that's fine. I can say that. Because I am one. Anyways, I'm thinking about, like, replaying through the game. We speedrun it? Let's do it. Maybe. No, let's start a stream fresh with that. Maybe tomorrow on the last day of the event I play through the game, like all the way. Wouldn't that be cool? Would that be cool? I think that'd be cool. Let's do the seasonal one.
Good afternoon, 47. Your target is Max Valiant, ex-ICA assassin and a legend within the firm. This one is personal for ICA. We are dealing with a very dangerous man. Agent Valiant used to be one of our top assets before you came along. However, we became aware that he was playing multiple sides, and we couldn't afford to have him leaking knowledge to unwanted parties. So we had to deal with him, the only way possible. We presumed he was dead for years, until now. He's taken control of our facility in Chongqing and has demanded a meeting.
Oh, hell no.
We don't know his agenda, but we fear the worst. So we are sending you undercover to escort our board member, Mr. Pritchard, who will be representing us.
Oh, shit.
Be careful. Valiant is
what the fuck? Oh, he's such a bottom.
We need to finish what we started years ago.
He's gay. Look at the handkerchief. Remove usage methods to hide animals. Okay. Hide. Yeah, give me one of them rubber duckies. Asylum destinations. The deal is ultimately impossible. The following rules apply to readers involved in the work. The contract should start BR before the remaining time. Lie. Compatibility cannot be repeated. When you complete and finish the contract, a number that you can't actually click on. Once the contract is terminated, it cannot be renewed. That's the plan. Games cannot be saved while playing in an unknown place. By default, the resulting agreement may contain additional conditions.
Cryptospermia, a fucking term for semen with an extremely fucking low concentration of fucking sperm. With cryptospermia, the sperm count is so fucking low that it may even be measured as fucking 0 in an initial analysis.
Pathetic cum. Pathetic cum to a scientific degree. Should I do a should I get my like virility tested for stream? How much does that cost?
This is it. Now I need you both to keep a cool head. Only use excessive.
What if it turns out my sperm are fucked up?
Any known status on what we're up against?
We can only presume Valiant brought an army.
Since you need zinc supplements.
Outnumbered.
Got it.
Let's go.
All right, let's organize trade units. I don't know what I agreed to, by the way.
Valiant before?
Once or twice. A real charmer. Don't think he'd be happy to see me, though.
Why?
I was the handler in charge of his assassination. It's important to stress, we are not dealing with just anyone. This man is dangerous. He knows how we work.
He's dangerous, he knows how we work.
All right, down here. Keep calm, gentlemen.
Okay.
Cryptids? Couldn't remember the term. Cryptozoospermia? I like that.
Here we go.
Ah, you must be Mr. Pritchard. Welcome.
And you are?
Dr. Hay, an associate of Mr. Valiant. He's waiting, so please follow me.
Lead the way.
What if it's not 100% sperm? Ever think of that? It's not
So,
comb, it's a swarm.
exactly what do you do here, Dr. Hay?
I'm the head biochemist of the operation.
Of the operation? Looks like a massacre.
Not everyone was willing to comply to our takeover. But I assure you, this is not my doing.
No, I guessed that. This has Valiant written all over it.
You knew him back when he was in the ICA.
We crossed paths. It's complicated. You said biochemist. What exactly
80%
does a
sperm,
biochemist do for a man
20%
like Valiant?
microplastics. I'm gonna make
All
fucking
in good
Lego
time,
bricks out of it.
Mr. Pritchard.
Oh, that's probably why it's all
I
yellow
promise
and
you,
watery. It's actually just
you
resin.
will not leave disappointed.
You'll let me leave after this is over. Well, that's nice to hear.
We are not barbarians. I assure you, we have used our facility for some truly ground.
Dude, she's so evil.
And, after all, at the end of the day, the ICA works for the profit of the shareholders, no?
In theory. I warn you, though, a segment of our shareholders have motivations beside profit. Power, security.
And you, Mr. Pritchard? On the Venn diagram of power and profit, where do you sit?
I'm the chief financial officer.
I suspect we'll get along swimmingly.
That
Here we
is Max Valiant, ex-ICA. Find out what he wants, then put him to
Valiant.
rest.
Can't say it's a pleasure.
No flowers! I'm crushed.
Pardon my bluntness, but I saw the blood out there.
Collateral damage to get your attention.
It worked.
Look, I come in peace.
What do you want, Valiant?
Manner, Pritchard. I'm holding all the card here. Show me some respect.
I subdue him.
The ICA respects you. I'm here, aren't I? Now, get to the point.
Don't
This is
mock
so
me.
zoomed in.
Take a seat.
Observe the negotiations.
Okay, Pritchard. Thanks for showing up.
What the
You
fuck?
are here because I'm about to change the game. Big time.
Why do you,
so?
Do you really
For
just do
years,
this?
The ICA has been on top of the game, employing only the best agents to ensure that nobody is untouchable. This dedication to quality is expensive. How much time and money do you put into a single candidate? Anyone?
I'll play along. 6 years minimum. Extensive training at our facility in Greenland. I budget $137 million per candidate. Though that's if they complete the program.
And that's if. There is no way you can grow.
The required kind of talent doesn't come along very often.
What if I told you that I can boost recruits and cut costs?
I'd say you're full of shit.
In Romania, I stumbled across the remnants of a very interesting research project.
Don't say what I think you're going to say.
Ha! Now I have your attention. Good. Dr. Hay has been working and recreating the project for over a decade. But some data was missing. My guess...
How does he even walk
taken by
normally
the
when
man
he's that
you sent
flexible?
to kill me.
I think his hips
And
just
then
dislocate.
I
You know?
discovered this place.
If we are talking about the same thing, that will take years to...
Incorrect. Turn on the light.
Huh? Huh? Mother
This
God.
is a threat we could not have predicted. We need a new line of action.
insane?
Stand by for further
We
instructions.
have a clone of the human. This is a breakthrough.
It's unethical! Are they you?
Yes.
Oh my God, he made clones of himself?
Each clone is a perfect replication of Max Valiant,
The perfect agent in his prime.
retaining his memories, skills, his consciousness, if you will.
Check this shit out, y'all. What the fuck? There's fucking clones. Damn. Who would have thunk it?
47. Objective updated. I'm authorizing additional targets. Eliminate Valiant and his clones.
Oh, you're kidding
None
me.
of them can make it out alive.
I can see you are
Guys?
shocking. Come, let me give you a tour.
Oh. Well. Oh man, that's a lot of them.
If you
That's a
needed the
lot of
final
them.
data here at the facility.
Yo, it's
that
your
means you-
boy Hitman. I'm here at the clown facility. And check this out.
madness.
Clowns.
As you can
Clowns
see,
everywhere.
every single one of them is put through an intense regimen, day in and day out. From dawn till dusk, they're pushed to their limits, training their bodies to perfection.
Damn.
Hey, you better not
As
be
you
one of
can
them
see,
drug fiends looking to sell
every
your
single
perfectly
one of them
formed
is
ass
put
for a
through
fix of
an
hash.
intense regimen, day
Huh?
in and day out. From dawn till dusk, they're pushed to their limits, training their bodies to perfection. Each exercise is designed to test endurance, agility, and strength, ensuring they reach peak physical condition. They are the finest specimens of human engineering, don't you think? Not a single muscle is left untrained, not a skill untaught. They run, lift, fight, and adapt constantly. They're built for excellence, honed for any challenge, and conditioned to be the best in every conceivable way.
Well, they have the best genes. Not to brag, but they do. Let's move on.
So, what you were saying is that they continue to evolve.
Yes.
Pirate TV.
They are a perfect creation. We spend our childhood learning to walk, talk, etc. They are born with those
He
abilities.
hates that TV.
So of course they are bound to improve.
You should see how they train their tongue muscles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Here we have devised something amusing.
Tongue
Designed
muscles.
to test that each clone has inherited Mr. Valiant's legendary agility.
I used this move to get past Pentagon lasers. If the clone cannot do it, we have failed.
I have to admit, it's impressive.
It is, n'est-ce pas?
In order to verify the
He's
ability
French.
to pull off the maneuver under pressure, failure means death by incineration.
A bit much, don't you think? Destroying test subjects so easily.
You'll find that an infinite supply of candidates allows for a paradigm shift in training methodology. Now, should we continue?
An infinite supply? I don't understand. How?
That's
Sir, please.
That's our secret.
What if we just wait?
Let's just say, I found a way of speeding up the cloning process.
Oh my god. I'm allergic to clones.
She's dangerous.
Fantastic. I don't know how you do it. I'm just going to vary the pressure.
And here we have our shooting range. What you see before you is the future of precision and efficiency. These are not just assassins. They are the ultimate marksmen, engineered to perfection. Every clone is designed with enhanced reflexes, unwavering
They got me by the
focus,
balls
and
here, Chad. I can't do
mastery in
anything.
every firearm in existence.
Their accuracy is perfected to a level no human could ever achieve. They don't miss, they don't falter, and they adapt instantly to changing conditions. Much like myself.
The margin for error is zero.
Prove it.
I will. Let's try the game of William Tell, and I will be the target. On fire!
Freaks. All of them.
Relax, Angus. Be prepared to be blown away. No, I will take this golf ball, which is an hard target from any distance, even for the most experienced. And I bet my life they won't miss. They are all me, and I'm perfect. Go for it. You see? Perfect. Well done, boys. Now let's move on.
So what do you think, Mr. Pritchard?
It's unethical and sick. You are playing God. But I must confess, I'm impressed.
One more room, then we can talk business.
I would like to talk to Dr. Hay.
It can wait. I want to show you my favorite room. Please.
I just gotta play along.
We need to up the stakes. Do it again, but on each other.
He's got a lot of golf balls. He does this all the time. He loves the shit. You think he's Belgian? You think he's Jesus Christ venereal disease Belgian? I don't know what that means. I come in here too.
Here we are, our dojo.
Wake up. We have guests. I thought there would be 2 here, so we could show off their hand-to-hand combat. But apparently not.
Well, I saw my brother not long ago. Sure, he will be back.
No time.
Easy, Dr.
Is that a bad dragon hat?
He's still fresh from the tank.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, break some silly bricks.
Watch it, Doctor. They are all me. Go ahead, impress us.
Are you kidding me? Bricks? What is this, a circus act?
Don't you start. Please, show us what you got.
I mean, it's impressive. You break a bunch of bricks. Challenge the clone. Why would I do that? Dude, I'm fucking undercover. Pain? Pain.
Very impressive.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pritchard. I had a completely different...
Shut up. Enjoy the show.
Yes, sorry.
Did I do good? You did great. Now let's talk business. Follow me.
Dude, I can't stop staring at their asses. Yeah, damn. I realized I could get that one right there. I'm just playing it cool.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pritchard. That last demonstration went a bit south.
I suppose that's one way of putting it.
I would strongly suggest you handle the next step with great care. Valiant can be dangerous when things don't go his way.
Oh, does he have borderline personality disorder?
But thanks for the heads up.
Is that why he's the splitter?
Here we are. After you, Angus.
Had somebody with OCD earlier. Have somebody with
What are you thinking?
Well, up until the last shit show, I was impressed.
I'm literally just stealing office supplies.
But something tells me that there is more. You are not just handing this to us on a
Gerald
plate.
Borderlands venereal
Have you approached
disease.
anyone else?
No, you are first in line. As you have so kindly given me this facility. So it's only fair to talk to you first.
Stop dancing. Spit it out. What do you want?
Drop the tough guy hat. It doesn't suit you. But yeah, here's my offer. I give you endless copies of me. For total control of Icy Hay.
That will never happen. You are mad.
I'm a genius. Think about it. If you say no, others will say yes. Trust me, you don't want that.
I need to speak to headquarters.
Sure, but the clock is ticking. You got 2 hours. Dr. Hay will take you to a private room to think and do your thing.
I can't leave?
No. And Angus, don't come back with the bad news. Your life depends on it. Your family, friends, even your pets. Got it?
Yes. I understand, Max.
Good. Well, an awesome.
Do I leave too? Man, this guy's crazy, huh? The thinking room. Well, damn, we sure got ourselves into a pickle, ain't we? Crazy job. What if we heard a grinder notification? We came in through a shipping crate. Level 3 access key. Can't save either. Just is what it is. Pain. Good.
Access denied.
Say that a little quieter, please. Driver until death.
Done.
Sir, pick that up.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. We might have a possible disturbance. I'm moving to investigate. We'll keep you posted.
Am I allowed to leave this room? Is that
freaky?
Freaky. Is it cool for me to leave? Okay. Can I just come in here? Like, for real?
We may have a screw and/or driver-related incident.
Excellent, 47.
Be on alert.
Valiant has been eliminated. But we need to take down all the clones as well.
We may have a screw-related incident. Alerta. Alerta. Golf ball pop. What is that? Dude. What is that thing? Whatever. Looks really cool. Open shivering. Oh, that's an explosive golf ball. The dildo to go with the bad dragon capsule earlier, yeah.
Oh.
Oh. Man, those clones are freaking me out. Their outlines are freaky.
Who's there? Answer me.
This guy's outfits are kind of hot. A little bit. Disguised as CCTV. Alright, I'm disguised as one of them now. And there's no evidence anymore.
Access granted.
It's the glass panels. What? Oh, there's another one over here.
Access granted.
I love just fucking with stuff. I feel like if we take down the guards, then taking down the clones will be a lot easier. And hitting the glass.
Security protocol overruled.
True.
Do you think someone will come for us? I mean, it's been days. I need to get out of this place, otherwise I'll crack. As a friend, don't do anything stupid. We're gonna get through this. So...
I could just fill up the air vents with lotion or maybe oatmeal.
Like it's completely normal. Just take a deep breath. Forget everything. Just go about what you do.
So these dudes just see shit. Everything.
See you later.
And that goes down to data core. Oh, they go away. They go away. That's cool. I like that. What's up, man? How's life as a clone? We can challenge the clone.
Excuse me, but may I entertain Dr. Hayes' original intention? Bricks don't hit back.
Bring it on. Because of my big legs and cut.
I don't take chances like that. Y'all know me. And that's the real game theory. It would just be funnier to kill everyone. Yeah, but like I am a little worried about that supposed time limit, but I don't know if that's like real.
Bring it on, because of my big legs and cunt.
Yeah, that's what he was gonna say. Well, he saw me, I guess. Whatever. That was bullshit. That's not misogyny. They're describing a body part. Okay, whatever.
Very good. You're doing great. We'll just adjust the pressure, so get ready.
Thank you. I'm strong. Why? Because I eat a lot of legumes. So I'm ready.
Grab some water. That reminds me, I got all right.
Jeez.
Oh, the clones just got out of workout work. Oh, and everyone's taking a piss break. God damn it.
Why does this
Pee-pee
always
time.
happen to me? Why does this always...
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna help this doctor go pee-pee now.
Plant inspector.
I'm a plant inspector now. Oh, he's a student, and I choked him out. Pain. Good. He didn't hear it. He didn't hear that! Oh. I'll probably go explode that one sleepy guy who saw me. Probably be pretty funny.
Ah, come on!
Pain.
Pain. Torture. Misfortune. Mistortion. Oh my god, the sauna. Oh my god, the sauna. My god, they have a sauna. Oh my god.
Huh.
Aw.
What? It's me. Possible intrusion. Moving in.
It's me, Bussy Intruder. What a name.
Nice going. Nice going, mon cul.
Nice. Easy work, easy work. Idea.
Wow.
Oh, typical. Ah, excellent. Oh.
Why did he not go and... God damn it.
Hey, hey.
You don't see anything? Shoots himself in the head plus 1,000. If only.
Yes.
Okay, she's occupied. It's fine. He shoots himself in the head plus 1,000. $100. Kill a tramp. Yeah. Does that every time. Kill a tramp. Should I disguise as a researcher?
That's excellent. Now let me adjust the pressure. Ready?
Do it.
Missing researcher disguise. But these are a bunch of, like, students, right?
Fantastic. I don't...
I'm here to relieve you of your duties.
Oh. I'll get out of your hair. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Your look suits you. Just grab a cup of tea.
I've had that happen to me.
Awkward.
IRL.
Please.
It's not rude. It's fine. This is rude. In fact, it's downright deadly. The correct thing to do is just say, "I'll get out of your hair." If you say it, just move on. It's just a saying. Slowly reducing the amount of people who surround the clones. Hmm. 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 Jade decor. Damn, that dude like work here, and he knows what's up. Oh, do they do the William Tell routine with each other? Like all day long, Sweet Susie? Well, I have an explosive golf ball with their name on it. Place golf. But they're gonna know.
Yes, sir.
Run! That scared the fuck out of me. It was an accident. It was an accident. Kill the tramp.
Will do.
Bruh, what just happened?
Command, I have nothing to report from my current location. Over.
Huh? Oh, that guy just blew up. What a hell.
Got nothing. Search the zone. Find him. We are the OG predators here.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll another one will come up to replace him. Can I see if I can do it? Is he dancing? Look at that. Or they like making him play DDR down there. Look at how helpful he is. We trained you good. You clean up good. This is good to know that they help clean up bodies. Wish I could just blow this doctor into smithereens. It's researchman. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That guy's about to walk in there. We gotta shut that down. Or not. He just walks back in here. Doesn't see anything.
I wish I could just blow this doctor
up, right? Say up now. Y comer. Oi. Oh shit, there's a guy over there. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, he's definitely up now.
I don't know. I think he fell asleep. You know.
This is the clone room. Unfortunately, it has too many dead clowns.
Do you think you can help us clean it up? Dora.
I wonder how long we're gonna stay here.
In the spot or the facility?
Facility. I applied for Spec Ops. I almost made it.
I am playing for Spec Ops.
Facility, dumbass.
As long as Valiant says so.
I spy with my little eye. Something beginning with.
Shut up.
Wow.
Duck Rustic Shot Collector. Excuse me.
I'm a soldier. I follow orders, no questions asked.
I'm a soldier. I follow orders. Me. Man, you're no fun.
Killing civilians is no fun.
Shit. That was a bummer of a quote. I guess we'll just stand here then. Like good little soldiers. Ready for anything.
Thank you.
They're having a work disagreement. Bro, he's boogieing.
Any improvement on the specimen?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, he's taking up space. Get rid of him.
But he's a living person, not some animal.
Terminate him. That's an order.
Yes, of course. We'll do it.
Good. And don't make me send someone down to do your work. But I will if I have to.
Yes, Doctor. We'll do it. I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
I'm sure we can find a humane way, so he won't feel a thing.
I think we should let him go. No one will know. He can go on adventures and dazzle the world with his avant-garde dance moves.
We got no choice but to comply. Dr. Hay gets really pissy if
Is
we
he?
don't follow orders. And I'm scared of her.
Dude. Fuck. That's a conundrum and a half. Why'd they put this here? Just to taunt me. Well. To use with poison for the rest of the mine. Sorta, maybe? Maybe.
Damn.
He don't care. Sorta, maybe? I don't really know a Jean-Claude Van Damme dance. Let him free. Come on out, buddy. Dude, do we have to kill him? It's awful, and he does a similar little clap.
I'm gonna
He was killed in battle. It's so true. I feel bad. I do.
Access granted.
Where'd my eyeglasses go?
Security protocol overruled.
Those aren't there when I... Huh? I guess it's for added effect. Remove integration to the group.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Exposition. Yep. I'm fixing this thing in case anyone was wondering.
They say that a lot.
Okay, off.
You go here now. Sleep. Finally, you rest. Remove server. Quit doing that.
Up and running.
Wanna hear the world's longest location?
Yeah.
Tamadawakapanawanana.
I feel like that came out a little shorter than it actually is. That has good copy pasta potential though.
Tamadawakapanawanana.
She refuses to be to explore culture. And frankly it sickens me.
This must be where the clones are created. Oh, this operation is bigger than I feared. 47, you know what you need to do.
Bro, they got him in fucking, like, diapers? What the fuck is this shit? I don't like that. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but like, fuck. Ew. He's a little. He's a tube baby. High temperatures. Did I just go for it? Nah, she'll know. They'll know.
They'll know.
Tube baby is crazy. Yeah, I mean, they're created biologically. They're actually biological DNA lab creations. ABDL-C. Assassin babies, destroy the lab.
What?
What? Oh, sorry guys. Drop that, my bad. Ooh, if I open this up, I could slump one of them over here. Maybe. Wow. We go around the tube.
Is anyone there? Don't you dare hit me!
Oh God! I need some assistance here, sir.
No, you don't. Shut up. Beep, beep, beep. Roast baby. I don't really want to stick around to see that, honestly. Maybe I do. Arise. Arise, creatura. Arise! 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 Arise, creatura! Arise! Arise! Arise!
Excellent work, 47. All targets have been eliminated. I know this can't have been easy. Now get out of there.
We have a team on standby to take care of the rest. Your money is being transferred now.
Bro, it's Matt.
Hey, how are you?
Wait, that was my original suit, right? Perfect. And I can have these guns? Cool. Yeah, suckers. Nope. Wrong. Get out of there. Where's the nearest exit? Up there. How do I get up there?
I dated a 5 feet 8 guy who taught every chat. 6 feet, bro, he necked until they pulled their fist back to beat him up. Whereupon my
Someone just
ex
killed this
would
guy.
go, hey, hi, Hitman, I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's also my birthday. I'm a little birthday boy.
Finally, someone put him out of his misery. God, that was such a classic post. And such a dreadful voice. I'm glad we have emo guy now. That's a new favorite. I'm gonna be hearing that like here in a few hours when I go to bed. In my dreams. I'm tempted every time, but she doesn't deserve it. Just want to push her. Just want to push her. Completion of work. We did it. Goodbye, China. Whee! Rides the subway with an assault rifle. Yeah, ignore the gun. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Nice, nice, nice. Wow, we get a lot. Wait, this is all the stuff I've like done on that mission, on the China mission, as well as everything I did here. Oh. Black hat. Tactical shotgun. The Mac 3. The splitter suit. Channel the dandy 90s where everything was about indulgence and style. White pants, black tee, dark bomber jacket, complete with sunglasses that command attention. And for that unmistakable European flair, we've added an elegant blue scarf because you're the man and everyone will know it. Wow. That one had a different font than the other ones. That's weird. Wow, we can be fabulous. We can be zesty now. Good shit. Good shit. Do I want to do one more? Nah, it's almost 1 a.m. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, y'all. There's one more day in the event. I'm gonna be playing more Hitman, of course, even after the event. Cause But yeah, good night, y'all. Thank you for all that followed, subscribed, etc. I will probably stream tomorrow, more than likely, since it's like the last day. I want to be there for the people who waited until the very last minute, because I feel like that'll be a lot of people, because you know, gamers. But yeah. Well, for now, I bid you all adieu. Good night.